Have you ever wondered how the world's wealth is distributed? It's a question that forces us to delve into the heart of our society, unraveling threads of fairness, justice, and sustainability. It's a question that probes the very fabric of our economic structure. Are we living in a world where the scales of wealth are balanced? Or are we teetering on the edge of a precipice, where the money seems to flow into the hands of the few? What if I told you that the world's wealth is not as evenly spread as you might think? To understand the gravity of the situation, let's dive into some facts and figures. The reality is that the distribution of wealth across the world is far from even. It's more like a skewed seesaw, heavily tilted towards a minute fraction of the global population. Let's look at the top 1%. This tiny, almost imperceptible slice of the world's population controls almost half of the world's wealth. Yes, you heard it right. Just 1% of the people have their hands on the lion's share of global wealth. To put things into perspective, the bottom half of the world's population, that's around 3.5 billion individuals, own less than 1% of total global wealth. What's even more startling is how this concentration of wealth has evolved over time. In the past 20 years, the wealth of the top 1% has grown at a staggering rate. In contrast, the wealth of the bottom half of the world's population has barely seen any significant growth. This widening wealth gap is not a result of mere chance. It's a product of systems and policies skewed in favor of the privileged few. The implications of such a stark wealth concentration are manifold. It's not just about money. This uneven wealth distribution affects access to resources, opportunities, and even the ability to influence policy decisions. It's a cycle that keeps the rich getting richer, while the poor struggle to climb up the economic ladder. This wealth disparity isn't just a national issue, it's a global concern. It's a topic that needs urgent attention and action from policymakers, economists, and every individual who believes in a more equitable world. So it becomes clear that a small group of people hold an enormous amount of the world's wealth. The figures are stark, the reality is harsh, and the consequences are far-reaching. It's high time we acknowledged this imbalance and started working towards a world where wealth is not concentrated in the hands of a few, but distributed in a way that ensures prosperity for all. Now, you may ask, why does this matter? Well, let me take you through the implications. Firstly, wealth concentration can destabilize an economy. When a small group hoards the majority of resources, it restricts economic prosperity for the rest of society. Fewer people can participate in the economy, leading to reduced consumer spending, which is a key driver of economic growth. Secondly, social inequality is exacerbated. The gap between the haves and the have-nots widens, creating a society divided by wealth. This disparity can lead to social unrest, as those who feel left behind may become disillusioned and frustrated. Now let's consider the political power dynamics. The concentration of wealth often translates into concentrated political power. Wealthy individuals or groups can influence policymaking, shaping laws and regulations to their benefit. This can result in a democracy that leans towards plutocracy, where the rich rule. And the most concerning part, this wealth concentration can lead to a cycle of wealth accumulation that is hard to break. The rich get richer, and the poor stay poor. Wealth begets more wealth, as those with money have the means to invest and multiply their fortune. This cycle perpetuates inequality and further widens the wealth gap. In essence, wealth concentration can create a vicious cycle that perpetuates inequality. It's a pressing issue that we must address for the sake of our economy, society, and democracy. In conclusion, the issue of wealth concentration is a complex and pressing one. It's a reality that wealth, like gravity, tends to accumulate in the hands of the few, creating a chasm of inequality. We've explored the stark reality of this wealth concentration, where a minute fraction of society holds the majority of the global wealth. But it's not just a case of dollars and cents. This disparity has far-reaching implications, from socio-economic mobility to the health of our democracies, and even the sustainability of our planet. It's a multifaceted issue that demands our attention and understanding. We must remember, the world's wealth is not a finite pie. Opportunities for prosperity can and should be broadened. It's not about taking from the rich to give to the poor, but about creating a system that promotes fairness and opportunity for all. As we move forward, it's crucial to keep this dialogue about wealth distribution alive. After all, a fair and equitable society benefits us all.